Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tom Clark over at TFCIV MMA. Sorry for the late video, but I guess better late than never. It's been a really busy week for me, pretty busy nights all week, so haven't had the chance to make this video yet, but really glad I'm able to get it to you guys this Saturday morning. We got an awesome card tonight, UFC Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotels, and I can't wait. This is an awesome matchup of bantamweight contenders. You have Piotr Jan going up against the Sarah Longo team again, but this time not against Aljamain Sterling, but against Merab Dvalishvili. Merab's riding a great win streak, most recently getting the win over Jose Aldo, and Piotr Jan coming off two very controversial split decision losses. That you could make a case for him in both of those. But he's looking to get on track. Merab's trying to keep the train going, so great storylines going in there. I really like both of these guys, so I'm kind of bummed that the antics have kind of gotten up because I would hate to see either of these guys lose. It's one of those fights for me, but it's going to be good to see. It's going to be very high level MMA, so I can't wait. Co-main event, we have Alexander Romanov versus Alexander Volkov. The Russian Volkov going at it against Alexander Romanov. So really excited to see this one, and then the feature bout. Ryan Spann versus Nikita Krylov, rescheduled to 3 rounds this time at a catch weight of 215 pounds. So I think we're all really excited for this card. A lot of very entertaining fights, and I simply cannot wait. But we're going to do a quick main card breakdown, and let me know what you guys think. Starting it off, we have Vitor Petrino making his debut on the UFC, coming off a heavy knockout on the Contender Series versus Anton Turkalj. I know I probably pronounced that wrong, but it's 6:30 in the morning. Cut me some slack, huh? He's going up in his second fight in the UFC. Obviously, had the loss to Jailton Almeida his first time out, and that's a loss that's aged very well. A lot of people think very highly of Jailton. A lot of people think he's a future title contender, or possibly could be a title contender very soon, with a fight with Biggie Boy being rumored. So excited to see that one. As you guys know, Petrino is undefeated coming in, and he has some knockout power. So I'm very excited for this one. It's pick'em odds with Petrino coming in at about minus 105 and Anton coming at about minus 115. And with the power Petrino holds at minus 105, run it. We're going with Vitor Petrino on that one. In the next bout, we have a great one at bantamweight. We have Mario Batista versus the veteran Guido Gnetti. Mario Batista is a heavy favorite in this one, in the range of minus 1,000 or so, and Gnetti is coming in about plus 650. But Gnetti, I think in all 9 of his UFC bouts I was reading, has been an underdog every time. So that's very interesting, and definitely gives you something to think about. Mario Batista is on quite the run right now. Obviously, he had the knockout loss against Trevin Jones a while back, but he has rebounded very well from that, put together some very entertaining wins, so it should be very good here. And hopefully just entertaining. Can Gennady take the early onslaught of Batista? Can Gennady get anything going? So yeah, I'm very excited for it, but at those odds, you got to give me Mario Batista. Will I be betting it? Not at all, because those odds are way too heavy for me to even be close. But I can't pick Guido Gennady at plus 650, even though I like the guy. He's awesome. But no, give me Mario Batista on that pick. The next fight is one that I think has fight of the night written all over it. It's another bantamweight bout. We have Said Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez. Both of these guys coming off good performances. Jonathan Martinez, his last time out, had the win over Cub Swanson via brutal leg kicks. And Said Nurmagomedov had a very good fight with Said Kakramanov. And Said Kakramanov was winning the majority of that fight. But Said Nurmagomedov kept composed and was able to lock in the submission there and get the win. So, in this one, Said actually comes in about a minus 215 with Jonathan Martinez coming in about a plus 185. I do think Said has more ways to win. Very versatile on the feet, loves those spinning kicks and such. But Jonathan Martinez has brutal leg kicks, and he's also very well rounded. So I'm very torn on this fight. I think this should be pick'em odds realistically, like the Petrino versus Anton fight, where one guy's minus 115, one guy's minus 105. But I've picked Said pretty much every time he's fought, and it's paid me pretty well. So at minus 215, give me Said Nurmagomedov, but this would not be one where I'd be surprised at all if I lost it, because Jonathan Martinez is an animal. You have him and Chris Gutierrez at that same camp, two guys who are really coming up in the bantamweight division. So that's a team to definitely keep your eye on going into 2023. Then we got the feature bout. This fight was supposed to be the main event a couple weeks ago, but it was canceled due to Krylov pulling out due to sickness. But you have Ryan Spann versus Nikita Krylov. Like I mentioned, this is going to be at a catch weight this time. So instead of 205 pounds, we had a 215 catch weight. Both guys weighed in at 213 on the dot. And the odds are the same as last time. Krylov comes in as a slight favorite at minus 170. Ryan Spann at plus 140. And I'm going to save the long breakdowns because if you want that, you can go back to my Spann versus Krylov main event video that when we thought it was going to happen. But I am very high on Ryan Spann. I think at plus 140, you got to go Ryan Spann in this one. His guillotine is so slick, so effective, and the knockout power in his hands is truly phenomenal. You saw what he did. Is Dominic Reyes' chin very diminished? Yes, but to knock someone out with a jab takes a hell of a lot of power. Ryan Spann also said after his last fight that was the first fight he actually did like a full training camp and such for. And speaking to some people in Fortis, there's a rumors that that's actually true, which kind of blows my mind that you get to that high level without the training camp. But he's had some great wins. He's had some tough losses. But at plus 140, I think it's going to be a great win. So give me Ryan Spann in the first round. F it. First or second round, Ryan Spann. I can't say whether it's going to be knockout or submission because that guillotine seems to come from nowhere. And his hands are so powerful. But either first or second round finish for Ryan Spann. After that, we go to the co-main event. We have Alexander Romanov versus Alexander Volkov. We have Moldova versus Russia. Romanov comes in at the minus 150. Obviously, Alexander Romanov was on quite the tear going into his last fight. He was undefeated, if I remember correctly, and had just been mauling through people. And he went up against Marcin Tybura in Salt Lake City, and his gas tank didn't fare him well. And that was the main reason for the loss there, in my opinion. And the weird part is, you'd think after that, oh, the gas tank's not great, maybe thin out, something like that. He actually puts on 20 pounds more of size to go back to where he was before he had lost the weight. He had been fighting around 240-ish for a little span there, but he's back to 265. A lot of people are getting on him. Oh my goodness, he's huge, blah, blah, blah. But I think he saw, even when he was thinner, his cardio still wasn't great, so why not have that extra power where he was running through people with it? So Romanov is about minus 150, and Volkov comes in at plus 130. There's a lot of value for Volkov at plus 130. I could definitely see a world where he gets through the early onslaught of Romanov and gets it done in the second or third rounds. And those are some pretty props. So look at those. I think it was like second round was plus 800, third round was plus 1,050 or something for Volkov. But that finishing factor Romanov has in that first round is huge. And we saw what Tom Aspinall did to Alexander Volkov when he was able to get him down. So, at minus 150 odds, we haven't seen Alexander Romanov here for a while. Give me Alexander Romanov. Lock it in. And I'd say probably in the first round. Put some money on Romanov in the first round if you are going to bet him. So, excited for that one. And now it's main event time. We have Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. And like I said in the intro, I'm kind of bummed this fight has to happen because I really like both guys. I've met both guys in person. Both super cool. Merab is one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet. Took some time to talk with me. And on, I think it was Friday of fight week. And then Sunday after, he saw me in the lobby, came over, started talking to me again. So really cool dude. And Petr Yan obviously doesn't speak English, but the time I met him, he let me take pictures and all this. And this was right after the Aljamain Sterling loss. This was the next morning. So he was still in good spirits even after a tough loss like that. So both really good guys, and I'm really excited for this fight. This is going to be high-level MMA. Petr Yan has some of the best boxing in the UFC, has great kicks, great spinning kicks when he uses them, and Merab Dvalishvili is a phenomenal grappler with weaponized cardio, as I call it. We see guys like Colby Covington use it. We saw Tony Ferguson use it in the past. Merab has that cardio that he can just keep going and going and going, where, like I said, weaponized cardio almost. You use it as a weapon because you know once you hit the deep waters, you're going to still be going, and your opponent is not. So that's a huge factor for Merab. He's number 3. Petr Yan's number 2. I think the plan is for Merab is if he wins this fight, as long as Aljamain beats Henry Cejudo. I think if Aljamain beats or loses to Henry Cejudo, he's going up to 145. Aljamain is a massive 135er, so I think the 145 move is not if, but when. So I think that Merab's plan is win or lose, Aljamain's moving up. So with a win here, Merab does get a title shot next. Arguably, if Aljo goes up, it's probably Sean O'Malley that Merab goes against, which I think is a horrible matchup for O'Malley. But if Piotr Jan wins this, he's right back in contention as well. He beats a guy who's on the big win streak, and he gets to say, hey, my last two losses, a lot of people don't even consider them losses. A lot of people scored the O'Malley fight for him, and some people scored the Aljamain fight for him. So with a win here, it's like those didn't even happen almost. He's right back into contention. So a lot on the line in this fight. And the only thing I'll say with it, because I said I'm so torn, I don't want to see either guy lose. At plus 215, you got to go Merab. At minus 255, this fight should be pick'em odds. So at those odds, you have to go with Merab Dvalishvili. But I'm very torn on this fight. I could see either guy going out there and executing their game plan and get the win. But I'm just rooting for an awesome fight, and I can't wait to see it. So it's happening tonight. UFC Las Vegas at the Virgin Hotels. I hope you guys enjoy it just as much as I do. We got the London card coming up next week. We had the Newark, New Jersey card officially announced yesterday. So we have Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush, Henry Cejudo, Triple C versus Aljamain the Funk Master Sterling. So a lot of awesome fights coming up, guys, and I got some sweet interviews lined up. I met some people at UFC 285 that I should be having here on the show in the next couple of weeks. So I can't wait to go over it all with you and have a great rest of your weekend, all right?